let's talk about how to actually separate your emotions from the actual problem. I think for me, being a person that always was emotional, I reacted off of what was happening now and what happened in the past. And this is when little small things would turn into big arguments. And a lot of times if we don't get this under control, we can take something so small. For example, if he says, "No, I'm not hungry," you will take that as a sign of rejection when naturally he's just saying, "I'm not hungry." Or when they don't text us back at a certain time frame, then we're looking at it as, okay, well, he's still this person. You know what I'm saying? And it could be that, or it could be the way that you're seeing it. That's the point that I'm trying to make. So in this video, I want to tackle how to actually separate your emotions from the actual problem. The way that you want to begin to do this is weighing the situation by the word of God. So whenever you're dealing with someone who is not fully repentant and not spiritually where you are, you have to understand that they are spiritually vulnerable to the enemy's tactics, and they are operating in a lot of spiritual ignorance. And when you get this understanding, this is where you understand that technically you are a person that has grown spiritually and they are not there yet to see the things the way you see things. For me, I've learned that men are not emotional creatures. A lot of them, some of them are not emotional. Some of them are all logic, especially when they don't have a relationship with the Lord, right? Some of them are all about what makes sense to them logically, okay? And they might not see things the way that you see things, or they're not taking your trauma as serious as you're taking your trauma. Trust me, I've been here, okay? And honestly, I'm gonna be honest with you, the type of person that they are right now, you don't want your healing to be in their hands. Big no. I know you want justice, validation, and just an apology. But a person who has yet to really take accountability and desire to be the person that they are with the meanness and the way that they are, they desire to be that person. That's the person that they want to be. You have to see it as they are not happy within themselves and they're taking it out on you. That's the problem. Okay, so you have to understand the Bible tells us that we wrestle not with flesh and blood, and the enemy can totally deceive a person by their unhealed trauma. But on the flip side, it could be where they're not doing anything, they're a lot better than before, and they're just not being the way that you want to be, okay? They're not yielding the way that satisfies something in you. As women, we want to be pursued, we want to be loved. You want him to show you that he is working on this thing. He wants to be with you. You want there to be an agreement between y'all, even if that's not the case right now, but naturally you desire more. I have been in this tough space, and I'm be honest with you, this is a space where only God can work. I think for me, my greatest thing was finding inner peace within myself and not putting so much expectation and faith in his actions, because whenever they're back, let's say that they come back, it's so easy to shift our faith in their actions than put our faith in what we cannot see, which is God. And this is where we have to really sit back, and draw back and ask God, what is the root of the issue? What's going on? It could be you or it could be them. The goal here is to always look for God in the situation. Now, if you're a person where you want more from him and he's not doing that, you have to go to God, my love, because the man is the one that leads. So if he's not showing up as a husband, that's God's job to put it in the man to do these things. The word tells us that the heart of the king is in the hand of God, and God changes the heart in whichever he pleases. But the first thing you want to do is to ask God for inner peace. All right. Because whenever you get inner peace, that means that you're separating, what you want from him. You're drawing back to yourself. It's easy to lose our identity, our identity, or even our sense of self in this process, because we already are laying our life for Christ, and then we're going through this selfless journey of standing and giving grace and forgiving. It's easy to lose your sense of self, and I try my best to help women to still have their identity by setting boundaries and understanding that how you feel does matter. So this is where you're going to begin to draw back and begin to really identify this through a sober mind, not how you feel. What this does is it empowers you to be able to hear the Lord clearly, and God will basically give you peace enough to navigate the situation through his leading. There's been several times in my life where I've always was under an emotional situation, and the Lord would always encourage me when I would just be in his presence. In the presence of God is where our anxiety and everything leaves us on what we want at the time. And God will be able to give you the peace that surpasses all understanding. All of what you feel will leave you, and God will show you the issue. However, I believe that whenever you have to grow into loving your peace, because peace is everything. See, when you fall in love with having peace in your life, whether the prayer is answered or not, you're not going to come out of that space for nothing. You're going to guard it with everything. I mean, you're going to be quiet to the situations where the old you would have said something, but because you love the peace that you have, the love that God is showing you with just him and you and your life and his life and your life, you don't want to go back and forth. You will allow a person to say, you know what? Okay. But oftentimes we lose our peace when we put our healing and our validation in the hand of others, So I pray that this video has encouraged you to really draw back whenever you get in your emotions, and do not allow your emotions to drive your reactions to the downside of your spouse, because at the end of the day, God is in control and God has the final say, and God is still working on them. So you don't want to mess this up in a sense. I pray that this video has blessed you. And even if you're in a space where you have a lot of anxiety and it's there, I need you to go spend time with God. Get off of social media, get off of TikTok, and go spend time with God, for God, not just because you want your marriage restored, but for God, because whenever you do that, you really get to experience peace, for real. Whenever you set your mind and get to know God and pursue God for God, you have the most peace that literally will blow your mind. All right. I love you, and I'll see you in the next video.